Hello, everyone. My name is Timothy Lee Grant, and today I want to talk about why I do not want to work for FAANG yet. All right, so let me explain my situation a little bit, and I think it's going to become pretty clear why I am happy at the place that I'm working at right now and why I want to stay there a little bit longer and give some context to that statement. So, I got hired on as an embedded systems engineer at a small startup company about a year and a half ago. So this company they've been around for about 10 years. They initially got their initial product line created 10 years ago and they haven't really developed a product since then, but now they're starting to develop a new product line. And that's why they hired me is they said, "Okay, well, we need someone to do firmware." Now, where I fit in is I just graduated with my degree in electrical and computer engineering with a minor in computer science. So I was looking for jobs, right? Apply, apply, apply. And then they hired me essentially because they wanted me to introduce this new product and I was going to be the software guy. So I'm the firmware guy in the hardware engineering department at this startup, which is creating a product that they haven't this is the first time that they've been introducing or that they've introduced a new product in like 10 years. So everything is new. All of the processes are new. It's very chaotic. We don't really like it's very dynamic, right? So they hired me about a year and a half ago, and as I said, I am the only person who does software at that company. I am in charge of the entire like firmware code base which our company uses. And if there's ever a task which has to do with like software or firmware, I'm the guy, right? So like this is on one hand incredibly like scary because I'm the only one who is in charge. And I feel like the way that my manager described my job a few days ago, about a week ago, he said, "You are the firmware department." So that gives you a little bit of an understanding of like my role at this company. And along with that, I definitely feel like I can't even describe how much I am actually learning at this company, both in terms of the technical skills, but also the soft skills. So the technical skills are kind of obvious, right? I'm learning the embedded systems, kind of like C coding. I'm learning how to write drivers. I'm learning how to write communication protocols between devices. I'm learning all of those technical embedded systems stuff, how to use an oscilloscope to look at signals as they propagate between one device to the other, electrical engineering troubleshooting, looking at a schematic, trying to look at data sheets to figure out, okay, well, what are the expected inputs to this component? What might be causing this circuit to be experiencing an issue, and that troubleshooting. That's the technical aspect. The soft skills that I'm learning are arguably more important. Maybe important is not the right word, but just as important. So the soft skills are like, what is product development? Like, what is the product development life cycle? And because I am in charge of everything with the firmware department, meaning me, right? Because I am the sole product owner of this project in regards to the firmware. I get to see from the very beginning, the entire life cycle of a pretty large scale project, right? Because it's not just me. I'm the firmware department, but there's about 5 electrical engineers and about maybe 8 to 10 mechanical engineers, right? So it's a big thing. And I'm able to see from the very beginning all the way to the end of a product life cycle. And I am able to really, really get hands on experience in this aspect because okay, here, do this project. Like that's essentially the task that I got. Do this product. We're coming up with this new product. Here are the schematics. Figure out what the software needs to do and do it, right? And I was uh okay. So, how am I going to do this? It was my responsibility to go and try to find out, well, what are the project specifications? Like, what are the project requirements? So, I had to create the project requirements myself. Then, okay, well, I created these project requirements. Are they any good? Like, well, I guess I need to go find people who are can be classified as stakeholders in this project and go and ask them like, hey, is this good? Like, is this what you're hoping? Like, does this satisfy you as a stakeholder in this project? And then they would come and revise it, be like, actually, I want it to operate a little bit differently. And so having that dynamic conversation where I am intimately involved in those conversations and those negotiations between the the engineer and the project owner or the stakeholders, right? Okay, so now then once I got some project requirements, okay, great. Now take that project requirement and put it into actual code, right? Like, okay, create the project. Do that. So I after doing that, well, does it work? And this was also a little bit iffy because now it's not just the code, it is the code plus the hardware, right? So it's two things kind of needing to synthesize together to actually create something useful. So, and we didn't have the hardware. So, how do I do that, right? So, trying to figure out what are testing mechanisms that I can use. And I had to kind of just figure that out, right? And then going forward, well, how do I document my tests? Well, I can document it this way, and then I would show my management and be like, "Hey, is this kind of what you're hoping?" And then they would give me really good feedback, like, "Oh no, we'd like it more like this or like that," and right, I would try to adjust things as I get feedback from my management or from the stakeholders. So, okay, great, testing, and now. Finally, right now is the time where we are finally kind of starting to create the hard like production creating the hardware. So it's no longer the prototypes, it is the low rate production units which are coming out. And it's hectic right now because I am always going over to production because there's this problem or that problem or the other one. And we need to figure out, okay, is it a software problem? Is it a hardware problem? Was it a manufacturing problem? Was it like, where is the problem? And so they'll call me over and I'll be like trying to do troubleshooting and then figure out, like, okay, and here's another thing. If it's a software problem, there has to be an update to the software problem. Well, where does the software live? What is the mechanism for releasing a new software revision? Does the software revision need to be tested? If so, how much? Right? Like, none of these questions are answered, and it's kind of my responsibility to figure that out and to come up with a method, come up with a way to systematically release software in a sustainable and safe manner. So I have all of this responsibility and I cannot describe how much I am learning. I look back a year and a half ago. I look at the person that I was a year and a half ago. I don't even recognize myself. Like, the amount of skills that I have gotten from that time to now is incalculable. Okay? It is insane how much skills I've gained, how much I've changed as an engineer between that time and now. So that's one of the main reasons why like I am extremely happy with the company that I'm at right now, the place that I'm working at right now, is I'm just learning so much, and because I am given so much responsibility, and because I'm given because I am the firmware department, I'm able to really get very up close and detailed and intimate knowledge and experience with so many aspects of a project's life cycle that I otherwise, I think, would not have gotten that experience. If I was at a larger company, I would be one member of a team, right? And they have project managers and project owners, and they have all of the project specifications are already written for them. And, right, like it's much more formalized. Whereas me, well, if you're just kind of thrown in and you have to, well, figure it out, all of a sudden you're going to find out, oh, why X, Y, or Z is important, right? Like, oh, this is why version control is extremely important. Oh, this is why, right, whatever is extremely important because you get bit by it because you don't know about whatever it is. You don't know about formalizing. For example, the first project that I did, because I've done the big overarching project at my company is what I mentioned, the releasing of new software for the new product line. That's what I mean. But I've done many other like smaller projects. I say smaller, but they're also kind of a little bit large, but not like on the scale that uh, the releasing of new product line was. So the first project that I did was this kind of I was developing a test system for production to test the units that were coming through the production line. Okay. And at that time, I had no idea. It was my first like actual project that I was doing in a corporate setting. Okay. And my boss told me, hey, we want you to develop a system to help production determine if units are good or bad, right? That was the instruction that I got. I just went straight into it. I didn't plan. I didn't come up with project specifications. I didn't come up with any, right? Like that's kind of the way that you do it at school is the teacher just gives you an assignment, you just jump right in, you try to work really hard, get that assignment done, get the project right like that. That's what I did. Well, I can't tell you how many things came back to bite me. So, for example, the project specifications, I didn't come out with project requirements. Well, then there was nothing for me to like qualify as done. And all of the stakeholders would say, well, actually, we want it like this. Well, actually, we want it like this. Well, actually, we want it like this. And I would get so many different conflicting ideas. And then now I've developed this project, and people, many, like 4 or 5 different people are saying, well, we want it like this, or we want it like this, we want it like this. All of a sudden, I have a functioning project that now I need to make significant changes to. Oof. Yeah, I learned very quickly that making sure you formalize your project specifications before you actually start developing, very important. So that's what I mean by it. Because I have that, because I am given so much responsibility right now at the company that I'm working at, it's like incredible how much I'm learning in terms of the technical, yes, and also the soft skills. The second reason why I don't think right now is definitely not the right time for me to move to a FAANG company is as I said, the company hired me specifically to release the new product, right? That is the product line. There's multiple different products. So it feels kind of not dishonest, that's not the right word, but just like not very honorable. It doesn't feel honorable for me to like come into the company, and I feel like the innate agreement, right, between me and the company, it's like they hired me to do this project. And if I come in, I go, 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 and then all of a sudden just leave. Like, that's not honorable. That's not good. The company has treated me extremely nice. They've treated me extremely well. My managers are amazing. My coworkers are amazing, right? Like, the company has treated me very honorably. I need to make sure that I return that and do all in my power to make sure that this project is successful. So that's the second reason, more of kind of like an ethical thing of just like, okay, the company hired me so that I can, or so that they can release this new product line. I am, if I left the company, it wouldn't just be me as an individual contributor leaving a project. It would be, as I said, the firmware department leaving the company. And then, okay, now someone else needs to jump in the middle of this release, and like that's not great at all, right? Like, so that's another reason. The third reason is I feel like this job is really curing me of my imposter syndrome, and in two ways, two separate ways. So the first one is that, as I said, my degree is in electrical and computer engineering, minor in computer science. But the way that my university taught electrical engineering was a little bit strange. I qualify it more as a mathematics degree. So everything was very theoretical, everything was very uh, models based, and it was very math intensive, not building intensive. So I when I graduated, I had kind of this feeling like, man, I'm not an electrical engineer. I don't think I have the skills. I had a bad feeling about not being an electrical engineer, and I definitely felt very not incompetent is not the right word. It's just I didn't feel good about my levels, my skill levels in electrical engineering. But at this job, I am able to gain a lot of those skills in electrical engineering, in electrical troubleshooting, in utilizing electrical engineering skills and tools, and just the skill set which is qualified as electrical. So now I feel a lot more confident in saying, yeah, I'm an electrical engineer. I have those skills. My degree is this. My skill set is this. And so I've been kind of cured of imposter syndrome in that aspect. Second aspect of imposter syndrome is if you are, as I described, in a small company, in a role that you have a lot of responsibility, it's very clear if you are incapable or you are not performing, right? So, this role has really allowed me to feel confident in my own skills that yes, I can do a large scale project. I can handle these technical tasks. I can handle this pressure, right? Because it's definitely a lot of pressure. Because if I can't solve a problem, it could hold up production for as long as I can't figure out that problem, right? Like, there's a lot of pressure and stress in my job right now. And so I feel, especially once I get this product line kind of running. It's working right now. Like the code works, but I'm trying to make sure that there's no bugs in it. We're trying to figure out, okay, are things hardware? How are things changing, right? Because it's a very like we're just starting to create the hardware and put the code in the hardware and come up like, okay, well, this is acting not as we're expecting, and trying to go through and figure out how we're going to change, if it's hardware change, if it's a software change, if all of that, right? So once we get to the point where the units are being regularly produced and we get to a more settled feeling, my goodness, I can't imagine how I'm going to feel at that point, because I'm going to be able to be like, yes, I was able to do this. This project was mine and mine alone. Again, the firmware. I'm not trying to say the overarching. I'm trying to say firmware. I was able to do this. I can't even imagine what that feeling is going to be like. How proud I'm going to be at that feeling. Like, can you imagine? Can you imagine? It's going to be amazing. I am so looking forward to that time that I can be like, have that realization that, whoa, I've done it. Look at it. It's working. It's going. It's like, I am so excited for that situation. So yeah, so that is my three reasons why I don't want to work for FAANG yet. Now, obviously, I really do want to work for FAANG, and there's a ton of different reasons why I want to work there. I'll probably do a follow-up video later on sometime about all of the reasons why I do want to work for FAANG, but um, this was kind of a video talking about why I feel like right now is definitely not the right time for me to even attempt to get into FAANG. So I know a lot of my videos, people have asked me, "Oh, are you currently trying to get in?" And the answer is no. No, not right now. I'm preparing for it because I know that that is eventually where I want to go, right? At my job, I'm doing embedded systems. Now, embe what I realized is embedded systems, the skill set, or I should say the technical skills needed in embedded systems are actually very different than the technical skills in software development. And so what I'm trying to do with my YouTube channel is, when I'm at work, yes, work as hard as I can, try to gain as many skills. Awesome. Now come home. Awesome. Time to learn software development. Try to practice and gain those skills in software engineering that I think are very important and will assist me in being able to eventually get into FAANG. So that's kind of what I'm doing with my YouTube channel, is after work, come home, and now trying to set myself up to gain those skills, to learn those skills. So I'm doing projects that I think are important and helpful to me in becoming a successful and a good software engineer. So trying to find all of those things that I'm lacking right now, and figuring out kind of how to fill that hole of knowledge and skills. So that's what I'm doing with my YouTube channel, because I know eventually, yes, that is my goal. That is what I want to do. I think it would be so amazing to be able to work for one of those companies, specifically like Amazon, Google, Facebook, like one of the I that would be like literally a dream come true if I was able to get into one of those companies. But yeah, so that's kind of I wanted to make this video just describing, like, yes, that's why you see I am trying to get into FAANG, but just not right now. Right now is not the right time. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you would like to join me in my journey, consider subscribing to this channel. I post videos every single day trying to either do leak code or do projects to become that better engineer, and on my path towards that. So if that is interesting to you guys, subscribe. That would be amazing. I almost have 700 subscribers right now. I have 691. So thank you to everyone who subscribed to me. That is awesome. And I will see you guys later. Tomorrow. Tomorrow. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a wonderful rest of the day. My name is Timothy Lee Grant, and goodbye.